Interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Doctor's Day, Tony. You're an honorary doctor. How you celebrate?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I tried foot surgery on a neighbor. There are a lot of bones down there in the feet. A lot of bones.
Don't mess with the feet. That resonates with me.
My honorary doctorate is a doctorate of humane letters, not just regular letters.
Not inhumane letters.
Not inhumane at all.
Okay.
Humane letters.
I never knew what that meant.
I think they're the ones between the A and the B, but I'm not exactly sure. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the men's Final Four is set. The women's is halfway there, and several umpires are getting some tough corrections from the new ball strike system. But we begin today with Uconn beating Duke last night on an almost unbelievable play. A shot from 35 feet out with less than 1 second remaining that gave Uconn a 73-72 victory in a game where they had been down 19 points in the first half. That shot by freshman Braylon Mullins put Uconn in the Final Four, kept Duke out. Wilbon, what did you make of the moment?
So many things, Tony. So many things. And starting, I just felt for Caden Boozer, who has been just getting better and better and better. And he doesn't have the profile of his big brother, but he's an important player for Duke. And I had that thought. And then my second thought went historical, because I was at courtside watching when Fred Brown of Georgetown famously threw a pass to James Worthy instead of a teammate.
Yep.
And Michael Jordan hit a game-winning shot and Georgetown lost. But I also thought, I hope it ends like this for Caden Boozer, because Fred Brown came back and won a national championship 2 years later. And then I thought about how, to me, I want a Duke guard, Caleb Foster, not on the floor. Don't exactly know the thinking. Maybe we'll hear about it, because everything about that play will be examined a million times over for 50 years. Isaiah Evans was on the floor. I want Isaiah Evans or Caleb Foster with the ball, period. Not that Boozer shouldn't have a capable free throw shooter as well, but I want those guys on the floor, all three of them, and that wasn't the case.
Yeah. So I found it amazing in the moment. I found the shot actually amazing.
It was.
I was amazed that the best shooter on Uconn, Alex, what's his name?
Caravan.
Didn't take that shot. Had the ball in his hands. Passed it back.
Got it was open.
Passed it back. Right. He had two guys near him. Saw that Mullins was open, passed it back, a deeper shot, but an uncontested shot. I was amazed, as you were amazed, that Uconn had the ball at all.
Yeah.
Right? Because Caden Boozer, here, you have to hold the ball to get fouled. There are 6 seconds left in the game.
You don't have to cross midcourt.
No, you don't have the time frame to worry about. There are 6 seconds left in the game. Uconn is down 2. They have no other choice but to foul you. But instead, he dribbles, he picks up his dribble, he tries to pass the ball, it gets deflected, and this happens. My immediate thought, yours historically went to Fred Brown. Mine was to Christian Laettner. I was at that game when Christian Laettner hit a shot that put Duke into the Final Four and knocked Kentucky out. Now, as I remember that game, it was more of a back-and-forth game. This was not that. This was a game of sprints.
Uconn looked like it was going to be knocked out.
That's right.
At one
Duke
point.
sprinted in the first half, and then Uconn sprinted in the second half. The other thing that stood out to me, and I'm sitting at my house watching this on television, the elation on the Uconn bench was palpable.
Yeah.
You could feel it through the television
set.
Us. I don't know how Danny Hurley did what I'm about to say, but he convinced his players throughout that game that they were still in that game.
This started at that part.
This started with about 80 seconds to go in the first half. They made a couple of buckets, cut the lead a little bit. Then in the second half, it was steady and it was incremental. But with all that, Mike, there's no way Uconn wins that game.
Well,
the kid has to hold it. He's an 80% foul shooter.
I'm going to give you credit. You called me with a minute 27 left. It went to 5, but before that, you had said, I think it was 9. You said Uconn's going to win this game. I thought you were crazy. But I thought Uconn was going to be in it. Danny Hurley, for whatever people might think of Danny Hurley in his manner.
Yeah, I like him.
He's a great coach.
I need to read you one thing. Duke has lost 4 times in the last year since they lost to Houston.
It's a trend.
Okay, plus 14 over Houston, lose the game. Plus 17 over Texas Tech this year, lose the game. Plus 13 over North Carolina, lose the game. Plus 19 over Uconn.
There's something structural there. What are we
Does
blaming?
it land on the coach?
Yes.
Does it?
Yes, it does. And there may be something structural. I just talked about the guards being on the floor. Caleb Foster has got to be on the floor against a team that can swarm you defensively like Uconn. But each one of those situations is slightly different.
Caden Boozer needs to know you hold it and get fouled.
You hold on to the ball. I hope this has a Fred Brown ending for Caleb Boozer. Because for Fred Brown, who I know extremely well after all these years, it ended up like this. It ended up winning a national championship.
Look,
I hope it ends up like that.
Look, I'll give you the analogy.
What's that?
The quad god has a terrible Olympics and then wins, right? Did he win the gold medal in the international?
Just win something next.
Yeah.
That's the analogy. The other three men's Final Four teams are, envelope please, Michigan, Arizona, and Illinois. Michigan dominated Tennessee. Arizona trailed by 7 at the half before rallying to beat Purdue comfortably, and Illinois pulled away from Iowa late. Tell me, which of these winners looked most impressive to you?
This is a very hard question to answer because they all look great. No, they all look great.
They did.
Michigan destroys Tennessee. But Tennessee is a 6 seed, so maybe Michigan is supposed to do that. Arizona beats 2 seed. Purdue is a 2 seed. Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, they win by 15, but in the second half, it's 48-26. Nobody looks better than Arizona at this point. They don't look better.
No.
Illinois, to me, looks like a pro team. They're big, they shoot it, and they defend. What they did to Iowa, they held Iowa to 23% shooting in the second half. They had more offensive rebounds than Iowa had defensive rebounds. I landed on them a couple of weeks ago, and I called you.
Yeah.
And I said, who are these guys? Because they're really, the Big Ten is really good, and they're really good. They are loaded.
How do you feel
with
about
international players?
Being loaded with international players?
Their
How do you
recruiting
feel about
budget
that?
must be many, many millions of dollars. It's like they set up a stand in Eastern Europe and said, come over, come over.
Yeah.
I will also tell you that I think, and then I'll get out of your way, I'm satisfied with the Final Four. I think there are 4 of the best 6 teams in the country. I think I'd add Duke and Iowa State, but I think we're getting the best teams.
I'm fine with the teams we got. I'm just going to say this as I think about those 4 teams. There's one name I wrote down out of all those players, a lot of great players. I mean, Arizona. I mean, you know, they got Burries and Peak. Arizona's got a wave of players and size, right? We just talked about Uconn, which knows what it's doing, and the players might be underrated because the coach is very highly rated, gets much of that credit. I wrote down one name. Yaxel Landenborg, because he's the best player in the tournament. You can have, and all the NBA scouts who might disagree, they can have whoever they want. 6'9", 240, can handle it. His shot is so soft, it just kisses the net on the way through.
But
he's the best player
I know
in the
your
tournament.
bracket. Your bracket has Arizona winning.
Yeah.
You don't have Michigan winning.
No, I don't.
Mr. Big Ten, you don't have Michigan
Tony,
winning.
Michigan, as you just said, they're putting the wood to people.
They are.
They're scoring 90 to 100 points on people. And that kid, and they got another guy on that team, all right, a Chicago kid, Catholic school kid, no less, who he's going to be a lottery pick. They got multiple lottery picks. They got multiple great shooters.
Do you want to see
Johnson,
the 2 semifinals, or do you feel that Michigan, Arizona, they should not have to be matched against each other?
That has a Houston-Louisville quality to it. You know what game I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or Georgetown, Kentucky. You know what game I'm talking about there. So, but you know what, Tony? I'm okay because Illinois or Connecticut could win anyway.
Oh, sure.
They could beat the team that comes out of that bracket.
Let me just tell you one thing,
tied.
because I know you picked Arizona. Do you know the last year in which a team from west of the Mississippi River won this thing?
Well, it must be Arizona.
It's 1997.
That's Arizona.
It's Arizona.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's bad for Arizona, although you could say that's a good omen because it was actually Arizona that won that.
Was Richard Jefferson on
That's
that
a
team?
long time ago,
Richard
1997.
can't be that old. Richard's not that old.
I mean, you hate I-95, but apparently I-95 teams or some proximity near I-95 wins this
They
thing
get
a
it
lot.
stacked for them all the time. They get everything in their favor.
In other words, it's
Including the
favoritism
whistle.
and they're cheated?
Huh?
Yeah, they're cheated.
Including the whistle.
Let's move to the women's
Like
tournament.
the lottery.
There are 2 Final Four teams already decided, the 2 national favorites, Uconn and UCLA. Uconn has won 54 games in a row. UCLA has won 29 games in a row. Uconn had no particular trouble beating Notre Dame to get to the Final Four, winning by 18. UCLA had a harder time with Duke, but won by 12, outscoring Duke by 20 in the second half. Wilbon, I know you watch these games. You have personal interest here, which you can talk about. Who looks stronger to you, Uconn or UCLA?
It's impossible to make the case for me that a team can look stronger than one of Gino Auriemma's undefeated teams. It just sounds stupid. Right? Yes. It would be like arguing, and we are old enough to have done this, you're wearing the proper colors for this, that somebody looks stronger than one of John Wooden's UCLA teams. That would be dumb. You can't do it.
No.
I do have personal interest. Kiki Rice, the Rice family, is like family to me. And so I have watched Kiki Rice grow up and play basketball. And in Washington, D.C., right here in the DMV.
At Sidwell.
At Sidwell Friends. And I have watched her. I was hoping she might wander over to Evanston, Illinois when she was in high school, but she didn't do that. And Carol Lawson must have, by the way, speaking of a team that came back, and Duke, a tough day for Duke. To lose,
Tough day.
Tough
day. Good game for
Carol
UConn.
must have recruited
Good
Kiki.
day for UConn, bad day for Duke.
So I'm rooting. I just admitted I'm rooting for Kiki Rice and UCLA.
So here's the thing. It is impossible for me to say anything other than UConn. We have now watched them win 12 national championships. This is their 25th Final Four. They have had winning streaks. Wow. You think 54 is good? They've had 111, 90, and 70. These are remarkable numbers. So the 54 almost looks pedestrian at that point. Gino Auriemma's record is amazing. There's nobody like him, ever. No. In sports, maybe. I mean, he wins just so many times. But I understand what you're saying about Kiki Rice, who's from D.C., and went to Sidwell Friends. She was Player of the Year in D.C. the year after. Azzi Fudd, also from D.C. at St. John's, was Player of the Year. The schools are 2 miles apart.
Rivals.
We have both been to both those schools. Yes. I used to walk my dog for years past St. John's. Right past St. John's. And I find these two women very easy to root for. But if you say, and somebody was in my ear the other day saying something like, well, UConn hasn't played a hard schedule this year and UCLA has. Well, stop.
We dismissed
Stop.
Both
because
of us
they play anybody, anywhere,
anybody
anytime.
You put in front of them.
So for me, it's UConn.
UConn has got to be a favorite. And once we fill out the bracket tonight, once we fill out the bracket and find out the remaining teams,
they're still
UConn is going to be. Although South Carolina, if they make it, they've won 3. Dawn has won 3.
Who won last year?
Gino.
Yeah. Let's take a break. Coming up, should all of the early overrules make you feel sympathy for some home plate umps?
And is it too soon for fans to boo the Mets' new offseason acquisition, Bo Bichette? Not Boo Bichette, Bo Bichette.
That UConn shot and Duke's fold is going to live for 50 years. Right? Trying to find out what's making the mob throb in mail time. I'll put on my glasses. I will get the first one and I will read it.
Is that okay?
Did any part of you feel badly for umpires C.B. Buckner and Chris Siegel for having so many ball strike calls overturned?
Yeah. I think it just sort of puts you on display. And that, I know that's not the intention, at least not the number one intention. And the number one intention gets the call right. Yeah. And I'm with that. I'm with whatever technology can get the call right. But I want it used quickly, and this is pretty quick.
Seems quick.
It seems quick, but it is intrusive. But I'm not for showing up blue. Now, sometimes I can get on blue here on this show, but I'm not for showing him up. That's embarrassing. You're basically putting that guy, you're having him step out into the camera and be embarrassed. And by the way, I thought, Salvador Perez, he got everything right, it seemed. Everything he tapped his head for, he got right. And by the way, at least the pitchers are all close. Some of the ones that are called and changed and overruled, they're a half inch off the plate. Yeah. I'm not going to be embarrassed about that.
I am embarrassed for the umpires.
Yeah.
It's a very hard job. They get an enormously high percentage of it right, but they miss. And maybe these guys miss a little bit more than others. But we're not turning back the tide here. We're going forward. In a very short amount of time, Mike, we're going to see the umpire at home plate call no balls and strikes.
Remove them.
He will, no. There are two functions.
Tag.
He'll be there for a tag and to hand new baseballs to the catcher to give to the pitcher. And I understand it's intrusive, and I know you don't like it. I like it more than you do. Yeah. But you cannot turn back the tide here. This is coming soon, where every single ball strike is going to be automated. Every single one, Mike. What else are you going to do?
I guess nothing. But doesn't part of you think that you want to say to yourself, Babe Ruth, Satchel Paige, Ted Williams are rolling over in their graves?
This is the baseball we grew up with, where there's human error, there's human frailty.
Yes.
And it was good enough for people for 100 years.
And when it's 1 inch off the plate, Do
you want to get it exactly right? If you do, you have to do this, and there is an embarrassment.
The technology's there. You can't go back.
Seems to be.
But it just bothers me. I'm old now. Booing Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
Is it too soon for Mets fans to boo Bo?
3 days, 3 games in? That seems a little soon. Now, here he is. He's 1 for 14. He's got 8 strikeouts.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who strikes out a lot.
No.
He's not at all. But it does seem a little soon. Do you know what Bo Bichette said? This is a direct quote. If anything, I thought the booing took too long. Now, he's signed a 3-year deal for
Son of a major
$126 million.
leaguer. He understands.
Yes. $126 million, but it's got opt-outs after each year.
Yeah.
So do you want to boo this guy out of town? He's at a new position. He's at third base. He's never played third base before. As you know, I grew up with the Mets. In 64 years of existence, they have 2 World Series champions. That's all they got is 2. Let's not go crazy here. They're not the Yankees. They're not the Dodgers. They didn't make the playoffs last year. How about this to close the season for all the money they spent? They lost 55 of the last 93 games. So slow down, Sparky.
So
slow down.
You want them to give Bo Bichette
a chance?
some room,
yes.
A little bit of a
more
leash.
More than three games.
Yeah,
yes.
Look, is it too soon for them? No, it's the Mets fans. Mets fans, Phillies fans, Yankees fans, and to a different degree, Red Sox fans. And where are all these people packed in like sardines? I-95, and they'll boo their mothers.
So the Cubs don't boo, and the Dodgers don't boo?
You
don't think the Dodgers boo?
I have never. The Dodgers fans aren't even awake. They're not even. They're not. They just get there in the 7th inning. They don't even know what's going on. Cubs. I have never booed in Wrigley Field, and if my son did, I would smack him.
Yeah.
There's no.
Well, he's 6'4" now, so he'd smack you back.
He smacked me back. He knocked me out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no Cubs fans don't. I'm just saying I wouldn't boo.
Don't put Mets fans, please. Don't put them with Phillies fans. Don't. I love them both. Don't put them with.
They're already booing.
Now, this is a mistake. This is not in their DNA all the time. Enough with the email. Let's take one last break. Still to come, the playoff-bound Golden Knights replace their coach with just 10 games left. Who does that remind you of? Lou Lamoriello, baby.
That's right.
Lou Lamoriello.
And the transition from coaching college to managing the majors is off to a slow start for Tony Vitello.
Lou Lamoriello would fire you with a week and a half left.
He would.
They did it all the time. And by the way, made the right move most of the time. Happy time, people. Happy 32nd birthday, Alex Bregman. Bregman left Houston for the Red Sox last season, sparking the upset of Rafael Devers, who felt he was the incumbent third baseman. As a result, Devers was traded to San Francisco. Bregman batted .273 for the Red Sox with 18 home runs, 62 RBI in only 114 games. Bregman then opted out of Boston, signed a 5-year, $175 million contract with the Chicago Cubs in January.
Yay.
Bregman was a 2-time World Series champion with the Astros, a 3-time All-Star, a Gold Glove, a Silver Slugger. Bregman also recently played on the United States team in the World Baseball Classic.
Happy to have him. Much happier to have him than paying some guy $1 trillion to be with the Dodgers. I'm happy to have Bregman. I know it's not a big deal. I'm disappointed to start off losing 2 out of 3
to my team, to the Nats.
Come on now.
You know, so you...
Just disappointed. That's all.
That's fine.
I understand. I don't want to be irrational.
We earned them. Happy anniversary, Martin Brodeur. On this day 23 years ago, Brodeur became the first NHL goalie with 4 40-win seasons when he led the New Jersey Devils to a 6-0 shutout over the Islanders. Not only does Brodeur remain the only NHL goalie to compile 4 40-win seasons, but Brodeur ended racking up 8 such seasons before retiring after 22 years in the league, 21 with New Jersey. Brodeur is the winningest goalie in NHL history, 691 wins. One of the perks of such a career is that Brodeur, born and raised in the suburbs of Montreal, was inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame in 2025, the first hockey player so honored.
In case you're born before the get-up era and you're curious about Sawchuk, 3 of those seasons. Jacques Plante, 3 of those seasons. The great Ken Dryden.
How many with Dryden?
2.
That's all.
Eddie Balfour, 2.
The separation is amazing.
It is amazing. It's crazy. That's
amazing.
Gretzky-like.
Happy trails, Bruce Cassidy. Vegas fired their head coach just 20 days before the start of the playoffs, despite currently being in the postseason field. The Golden Knights have struggled of late, winning just 3 of their last 10 games. But Cassidy led them to the Stanley Cup just 3 years ago, hasn't missed the playoffs since he took the gig. And get this, he'll be replaced, as every coach inevitably is, by John Tortorella. This is the 6th team Torts will have coached, and his 7th gig as he coached the Rangers twice. But he's only won 2 playoff series since 2013.
Well, at least he wasn't fired by Lou Lamoriello, was he? And they wasn't fired by him. The NHL has these crazy things where people get fired as they step into the playoffs, and sometimes it actually works.
This is the important thing to say. They don't do this in other sports.
No.
And in other sports, they think it's crazy. And you and I thought it was crazy until we saw results. that every once in a while, that is the one thing that is done, the one little turn, and it helps the team.
Yes.
Even
You
though
know what worked for? Michigan basketball once upon a time.
That's right.
Worked for them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, let's go to, what are we doing here? The big finish.
Let's do it.
First place battle between the Pistons and Thunder tonight. Is that a big deal?
No! Cade Cunningham, Stewart, Duran, Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, all out. Isaiah and Joe Dumars going to suit up. What? Gary Woodland won the Houston Open. We both think this is significant.
Very significant. He had brain surgery a few years ago. This is his first win since 2019 U.S. Open.
So glad
He
to
is
see
one of the most popular players on the entire
Yes, he
tour.
is.
Everybody is happy for him. Team USA men's soccer blowed out by
Man.
Belgium on Saturday. Cause for concern?
73 days to the start of World Cup, and we got Portugal tomorrow. I think you can make the case that these results are now serious. I think you can. Your boy, the quad god, won gold at the World Championships. Does that matter?
Yes, I think it's a redemption story of sorts, although I'm sure the Olympics is more important. But this, you talk about Caden Boozer and that mistake. You get another chance. You get other chances. Maybe it turns out right like this one did. Last one, new Giants manager Tony Vitello off to an 0-3 start. You smelling a win tonight?
At the Padres, so that's going to be tough, division rival and all that. Down 13-1 in terms of runs scored so far in his major league experience.
The most intriguing and risky hire of the
Yes,
year.
rooting for Buster Posey, though.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads. And now, your Sports Center.
Have you ever watched us on TV? Do you know how old we are? Oh,
Kind of.
oh.
Little